China remains a land of opportunity when it comes to doing business. Love it or loathe, business culture in China is something you need to know if you are to succeed in the Chinese market. Let's watch the do's and don'ts in Chinese business culture. Number 1. Do understand Guangxi. What, you might ask, does a Confucian concept have to do with business in modern China? It turns out the answer is quite a lot. Guangxi literally translates into English as relationship, or connections. And forming your business connections with other people in China is crucial if you are to be successful. In Western countries, this can sometimes be mistaken for corruption. In China, however, it is a normal way of doing business. Number 2. Do acknowledge hierarchy. Chinese companies usually have a rigid understanding of hierarchy. This may be important when you meet with a Chinese business party. During a meeting, for instance, Chinese employees may be unwilling to speak before the boss speaks. Or they may ask for permission from the boss before they speak. Number 3. Do respect formalities. This is perhaps where Chinese business culture most overlaps with Western business culture. Number 4. Do appreciate the food. China has so many delicious foods. China has such a rich food culture. Regardless of how they express themselves, Chinese people are proud of their cuisine. Number 5. Do give gifts. Just make sure you don't overdo it. Perhaps something that represents your hometown and/or home country. Snacks, little souvenirs or anything else you can think of are all okay. And just to be sure you keep within the gift-giving customs, be sure to present the gifts with 2 hands extending your arms out towards your host. Okay, now you've learnt the important dose in Chinese business culture, let's move on to check out the don'ts. Number 1. Don't underestimate the importance of traditional culture. Traditional Chinese culture still very much plays a part in the lives of many Chinese people. And this rubs off on businesses as well. Take holidays as an example. Chinese public holidays are arranged according to the Chinese lunar calendar. That means that holidays will fall on different dates each year according to the Gregorian calendar. You should bear this in mind when arranging business trips to China. The biggest holiday is Chinese New Year, also known as Spring Festival. Other holidays include National Day, Dragon Boat Festival, Mid-Autumn Festival and a few others. Many workplaces, with exceptions of course, will be closed during these times. Number 2. Don't avoid making small talk. Whether you're speaking to the boss or someone with a lower rank, Chinese colleagues will always feel less awkward with a bit of small talk to start the conversation. If your mind goes blank, here are a few ideas you can start with. Talk about your hometown. Your family, nice places to visit, good food and drink etc. are all good starting points. When talking about your impression of China, probably best to stick to the positives. Perhaps talk about what food you enjoyed and whether you have been to any interesting scenic spots. Keep the conversation openers light. Number 3. Don't talk about taboo topics. Being opinionated about current affairs is fine. But when it comes to business, stick to talking about just business. Here are a few topics you should definitely avoid with Chinese colleagues. Human rights, especially China-related human rights issues. Taiwan, specifically the question of whether Taiwan is an independent country. Hong Kong. This is particularly current in light of clashes between anti-Chinese Communist Party protesters and police. Number 4. Don't tip. If the service is good, a tip makes sense, right? Why should a waiter or waitress, hotel porter or bartender not be rewarded for their hard work? If you leave a tip, it may simply cause confusion. The person who receives it may chase you down and insist on giving the money back to you. Or they may put it aside for safekeeping in the hope that you will return later. Some establishments may even have official policies banning tipping. One travel website points out that in the worst-case scenario, you may even cause distress or offense to the person you tip. The act of tipping may imply that because you are financially better off than the person receiving the tip, it is your job to offer them some charity. This may lead the person to lose face and become embarrassed. Number 5. Don't speak too directly. This may make you come across as pushy and aggressive in the view of your Chinese counterparts. So when you want to say something like, "We need to get this done by April 21st, consider altering it to, "Let's aim to get this done by April 21st. Does that work for you? Or if you want to criticize something done by the other party, "Let's talk about where we can make some improvements," will probably come across better than, "This part was not up to scratch." This part of Chinese business culture is also related to the concept of saving face, i.e., not looking stupid in front of people. If a Chinese person does not know the answer to a question, they may not wish to admit this directly to save any potential embarrassment. Therefore, of course, business culture is not the be-all and end-all. Your ability to do business in China successfully will depend on a whole range of factors such as planning, investment, market conditions, etc. But it is nonetheless something you should be aware of. It could be the first step to making valuable connections in China. And after that, who knows where it will lead you?